are we actually liberated? So comrades, I call each one of you a comrade, especially our deaf community. Thank you for joining. As part of the inclusivity of the Congress, we are now involving the young PWDs into our system of Pan-Africanism. So I think let's appreciate the deaf people who are here today. And let's continue to invite others so that we can be more in this movement of Pan-Africanism. You heard how Comrade Kimani introduced me, did you? What name did he use first? Chelagat, right? And this is to continue to embrace ourselves as Africans. We have our English names, but we should also use our African names, of which we must be proud of. The name Chelagat means I was born at night. In my community, the Kalenjin community, we name according to the time and the season that you were born. I was born at 8 p.m., that's why the name Chelagat, since I was born at night. I want you to turn to your neighbor and ask them for their African name, what their African name is, and what it means. Your neighbor, your English name and the meaning. You don't know the meaning of the English name?
We don't even love the English names.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll continue with the conversation.
Mtu alizaliwa wakikamua ng'ombe.
So which carries more power, which carries more strength? Which one do you have more pride in? Your English name or your African name?
African,
right? And that is why we address the way we are today in our African attire. I purposefully chose not just to wear African, but to wear Kenyan, to wear lesser material, to appreciate the Kenyan culture. And my comrade Steve has talked about economic liberation. And as young people seated here in this room today, that is how I want us to view Pan-Africanism. I know Pan-Africanism has a lot of history. I remember the first time when I met our chairman, he introduces himself not as Alfred Tulu, but Tulu Alfred, because he's proud of the African name. And we sat there for 2 hours and he spoke non-stop about the history of Pan-Africanism, which initially I found very lengthy and a bit boring. But when he came again and spoke to me about it one-on-one, I really reflected and thought, there's a lot that our founding fathers fought for, and there's a lot our current leaders are fighting for. Take, for example, our president, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto. He's been fighting for Pan-Africanism. Have you seen it in the news? He's been speaking about how African presidents are boarded onto a bus and they're taken to certain destinations, and he said it's not right. And as the leadership of this country and of this continent is taking charge of such conversations, us as young people, we need to take charge of the economic conversations because they are what affect us directly. How do we earn a living every day? Many of us here in the university, I remember the misconception of many of us when we're leaving university is it would be easy to get employment, it would be easy to get a job. But once your feet step out of the university, you discover it's not what you think it is. Life out here is not what we think it is. So as the Pan-African Congress of Kenya, and myself being part of the leadership, want to take charge of this conversation, and not just the conversation, but the action. For our young people in Africa, not just to be proud of where they come from, to be proud of their names, to be proud of how they dress as Africans, but that we take charge of the economic conversation and the economic action of this country and of Africa. And I'd encourage each one of us here today, not just to view ourselves as Kenyans, but as Africans. Because when you meet other African young people from Tanzania, from Somalia, from Nigeria, from Algeria, you discover that we all share a common interest. We all share a common goal. And that's my encouragement to each one of us as we celebrate African Liberation Day. And in as much as we don't feel fully liberated, then that means there's work that we have to do for our future generations to ensure that they don't feel the same way that we feel today. Thank you so much and enjoy your African liberation.